Hey Star Wars fans, this is Star Wars fan Cole here. So, a Star Wars movie I would love to see after Dave Filoni's Star Wars Heir to the Empire movie. So, so a Star Wars movie I would like to see after Star Wars Heir to the Empire movie is I would really like to see a Star Wars movie on how Luke Skywalker was rebuilding the Jedi Order in Star Wars canon, and during 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 the events of after Return of the Jedi into the sequel trilogy of Luke Skywalker rebuilding the Jedi Order, and 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 how 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 Luke Skywalker passing down Yoda's teachings ultimately 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 led to the Jedi's destruction and the creation of Kylo Ren. And 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 I would also like to see some more backstory on how and I would really like to see some more backstory on how I would really like to see some more backstory on how Palpatine survived, and how Palpatine created Snoke, and how and how and how and how and and how and how Snoke successfully turned Ben Solo to the dark side and turned him 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 against his uncle Luke Skywalker into from 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 Ben Solo from 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 Ben Solo into Kylo Ren during the event sequel trilogy. That 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 is some more backstory I would like to be more explored on, because backstory like that being more explored on, I actually do believe would would very greatly retcon sequels, but I also but I also but I also but I also feel like, like that would fix how I see Luke Skywalker during the event sequel trilogy. You know, you know, you know, you know, you know, I would, I would really like to see some more backstory on how Luke Skywalker was rebuilding the Jedi Order, and how Luke Skywalker passing down Yoda's teachings sort of led to the destruction of his Jedi Order, and how and how and how and how that may have had some impact on the creation of Ben Solo to Kylo Ren, and 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 I would also like to see some backstory on how exactly Palpatine survived after events of Return of the Jedi into the sequel trilogy, and and I would also like to see how exactly Palpatine created Snoke, and how and how and how and how and how Palpatine successfully turned Ben Solo to the dark side, creating transforming Ben Solo to Kylo Ren, and seeing 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 more backstory on how on how on how on how that affects Luke Skywalker leading into the sequel trilogy, and how 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 that affects Luke Skywalker so badly that he's completely given up, and he 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 goes into hiding, and how 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 that exactly leads to Luke Skywalker saying it's time for the Jedi to end. You know, you know, you know, you know, you know, that is, you know, you know, you know, that is just some more backstory I would like to be explored upon, because 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 I really do believe that, because because I really do believe if Disney does do some backstory on this, I do believe this maybe could change how exactly we see the sequel trilogy, and how and 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 I really do believe this kind of backstory, I believe, and I really do believe this kind of backstory would explore more on how exactly that affects Luke Skywalker during the events sequel trilogy, and 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 I really do believe this would be a great retcon to the sequel trilogy, but I also really do believe this kind of backstory maybe could change how we see Luke Skywalker during event sequel trilogy, and maybe could change a little bit on how exactly we see the sequel trilogy. You know, 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 with more Star Wars information like this being explored more into another Star Wars trilogy after Star Wars Heirs the Empire. You know, you know, that is, that is just some more Star Wars information and some more Star Wars backstory and some more lore that I would really like to be expanded on, that I would really like to be more expanded on into another Star Wars sequel trilogy after the events of Star Wars Heirs of the Empire movie, because I really do believe this could change how we see the sequels, and I mean it a good way. The Star Wars fan call out.